most shows, you don't find out the culprit until the very end. So you've got to keep watching and keep watching. You think, but with Columbo, you know, and you think, wow, that's clever. Oh, I like that. That happened. And the Traitors is very similar. They give you the traitors, you know, so you're on that journey with the traitors, with the faithfuls, and the outcome is who's going to solve the crime.
Well, hello and welcome to Bingewatch. This is a very special podcast because today we are talking to Fay from Series 1 of The Traitors, and I am with Steve and Perkins.
Hello, yes, it's me from Bingewatch's sister podcast, Douze. I'm here for one episode only as a fellow Traitors aficionado.
And we are very excited to be here and talking to Fay. So, Fay, thank you so much for chatting to us today. I just wanted to start with, obviously, this is Bingewatch. We talk every week about what we're binging on, and I talk a lot about Traitors, which you are a huge part of. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Goodness me, but what do you want to know? Because the experience is huge. Just being chosen from thousands to go into the castle. I mean, that was an experience on its own. I'd never been to Scotland before. So when I saw the application, it said the Highlands. And I thought, wow, this looks really interesting. And it was all very mysterious. They didn't give a lot away, but they just said, have you got what it takes to be with 22 people? And you were actually isolated from everybody. And no one knew the format. So I just felt I was at a stage in my life where I wanted to do something totally different because I've been working in education for 30 years and left as head of welfare. And it was my 60th birthday last year. And I just felt in 22, I thought I need to look at what else I can do differently. And yep, I landed an audition and the rest is history.
It's been amazing because and it's come on so far, hasn't it, since you've been on it? I mean, the series is, I can't wait to watch it each time it's on. You know, we're all talking about it at work. Do you think that that's changed the show? Because obviously just gathered pace. Now that you mentioned that you didn't know the format, people do kind of know the format now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, this series 2 have had something to work on, you know, because it's like anything, the first of something is, wow, this is interesting. And I'm sure the producers didn't realise how huge it was going to be because, you know, we won everything last year, BAFTAs, NTAs, Royal Society Awards. I mean, I don't know, goodness, it must have won about 15 different awards last year. And Series 2, as like you said, they've built on that. It's bigger. It's huge. There's banners in London now with people's heads on it, you know, and they're all household names. You know, we were there a little bit, but because people didn't know about it, we probably didn't get the public announcement
Exposure.
Exposure, absolutely. But they're getting it. They're on TV. They've got an after show now. We didn't have an after show, so they can actually talk about their experience in the castle so that the whole public could share that with them. We didn't have that. So we had to work very hard on our Instagram stories and our social media to keep in touch with our fans. And it's, you know, it's quite a job to do that, particularly me who's a novice at IT, you know.
And me too, it seems. In terms of the show, do you keep in contact with the other people that were on there with you?
Yes, I've got a handful of buddies. I'm very close with them. And, you know, you won't be in touch with all of them because that's just how it is. It's a bit like your workplace. There's certain people you enjoy their company. So, yeah, we hang out. I was hanging out last weekend with a couple of them, you know. So, yeah, and I'm hanging out this weekend with some. So it's lovely. It really is.
And is it very showman-like in there? I mean, when you watch it, obviously it's called Traitors. So, you know, there are the traitors in there and you think they're your friends. Are you ever friends with them again after they've done something like that? Or does it feel very personal?
Well, at the time it feels personal. You know, nobody likes to be accused of something they're not. So at the time, yes. But if you're a reflective person like I am, you have to realize it's a game. And I'm a competitive person. I've played sports all my life at a good level. So I know that when you go into a game phase, we call it game phase mode, you'll go out there to win. You're not out there to hand it to the other team. So they have to do what they have to do. So you have to have that mindset. Yeah. And if you don't have that
Absolutely.
mindset, you could have issues afterwards. And, that's how it is.
Do you think maybe because obviously the people this time around had seen it on TV before, perhaps a bit easier for them to see it as a game, whereas because you were going in completely fresh to it, it was perhaps felt a little bit more personal.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Because going into something that you've seen before, you could have a strategy. I mean, it's like I said, I'm a team player, so I coached basketball at a very high level, and you had a plan for your team. If you didn't have a plan, seriously, you were going to get beaten seriously. So they would have had some sort of game plan. This is how I'm going to play it. However, and I know that plans don't always work. And in a place like the Traitors in the castle, it's so intense. Honestly, I've been to some finals where we've had to hit that last shot to win the match. This is different. Seriously, you are honestly you're in flight mode the whole time in there because you just don't know. You're paranoid. You walk into a room and are they talking about me or are they changing the subject? Because we're all under suspicion, every single one of us. The only people that know the truth are the traitors.
And I wondered about that. Does this bring out the very best or the very worst in people, do you think, Faye?
Depends on your character. If you're a highly strong person, that could bring out the worst in you. And then if you're an
Yeah.
introvert, it might help you, assert yourself a little bit. So I think it's the individual. I think if you're going into a show like that, you've got to be a pretty sound and confident person to do it in the first place.
Do they do quite a lot of checks on people before? Is there quite a
Oh
big
yeah,
sort of team?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're very good. Everything you have to tick all the boxes, basically. However, it's up to you to be honest and truthful when you are ticking those boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. It's an interesting format for or reality TV has obviously been huge for many
I
years,
love
starting I
it.
guess
Love
with kind of the
it.
Big Brothers. But this is new and it's different. Why do you think the audience, the public? I mean, it got over 6 million views the night before last. I mean, this is massive for the big, huge. Why do you think it's so big?
Well, the concept, like you said, is totally different. So if you think about it, 22 people have never met, they're isolated. However, you, the audience, can see who the culprits are. A little bit like Columbo. Columbo was when I was growing up, I don't know how old you guys are, but Columbo was the biggest detective show. Yes, there were other shows, Kojak and a Y50 and all these other ones, but Columbo, you knew from the beginning who'd done the murder because they showed it to you. And then what you wanted to see was how Columbo could solve it. And that was the biggest, for me, that was the thing. I wasn't, because in most shows, you don't find out the culprit until the very end. So you've got to keep watching and keep watching. You think, ah. But with Columbo, and you think, wow, that's clever. Oh, I like that. That happened. And the traitors is very similar. They give you the traitors, so you're on that journey with the traitors, with the faithfuls, and the outcome is who's going to solve the crime
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
and
I guess
how.
that I get and how and like you say, it's incredibly intense. I wanted to talk about Claudia for a moment because Claudia is a big part of the show, isn't she? And not least her wardrobe.
Yeah, no, it's amazing,
She's
isn't it?
brilliant.
And
Did you get to spend time with her?
oh, she is absolutely, honestly, I've told people the story of the church. We did 2 episodes in the church. One was the bell ringing, and one was when Kieran and Amos returned. And it was absolutely freezing in the church. Churches are never warm places anyway. She came in with this hot water bottle. She had her fingerless mittens on, and I just looked over at her and she said, "You're cold, Faye, aren't you?" I said, "I'm freezing. She says, you take my hot water bottle and you get yourself warmed up. And that was it. I had the hot water bottle for an hour, warmed up, and then gave it back to her at the end. And that is how genuine and lovely she is. She's so humble. She's so down to earth. And, you know, everything you see, like on Strictly as well, not just the Traitors, she's exactly like that. She's in it with you. You can feel it, you know, you can feel the transference between her and us when people are upset. You can see she's upset. She's feeling the pain. She's brilliant. She's amazing. She really is a nice person.
She's a massive part of the show, isn't she? I think she's part of the success.
She is. Yeah, for me, there's only one other presenter that could have pulled it off like Claudia, and that's Davina McCall. For me, Davina McCall and Claudia, they've got that same empathy with their contestants. And for me, she's the only other person, because I remember when they were saying to us, it's going to be big. You don't know we didn't know who the presenter was until we lined up. You know, when we were outside and we arrived, she came out of the castle and we all screamed. They never showed that bit because we thought, oh my God, Claudia. But I would have screamed equally if that was Davina McCall. Love Davina McCall.
You know, you're right. They've got the same energy, haven't they?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Steve. You crack on.
I was just going to ask, I mean, you know, I imagine the stress of this show must be incredible because you're sat there, you're being suspicious of everybody else is being suspicious of you. How do you sort of live with that on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I can't talk for everybody else, Stephen, but I work in reflective practice because of my job. I work with social, emotional, mental health children for 30 years. And if you work with those children, you will know that the anxiety that they carry and project the whole time is with all of the staff. So you have to be a reflective person. So I took my skills of 30 years into the program. So I could go away, be reflective, think about things. Like Will said, jot things down in a book. That's huge reflection, to write things down. Write down everything you did that day. That was my downfall because I disclosed all of that to Will on episode 9. and then he killed me. So but that is how you get through something like that, because honestly, your brain is 24/7. You're trying to solve it and you can't solve it because you don't know who the traitors are. And I don't care what anybody says. People go, oh, no, go and try it. It's not that easy. Andrew has said that several times. You've heard some of the other contestants say, wow, I thought I could handle this, but this is different. It is totally different. It's a experiential group. Do you know? If you've ever been to an experiential group, that's what this is. Yeah.
Obviously, as viewers, as you mentioned earlier, we have the advantage of we watch it, we know who the traitors are. So it's very easy for us to sit there and go, why aren't they getting this? But obviously, you don't have that information. So it must be quite weird sort of watching it back and seeing all these reactions to people and knowing how very different it is from the inside.
Yeah, that was the bit that, because like I said, because I got to episode 10, I'd seen the banishments. I knew who was murdered. I saw the crosses on the pictures. So I didn't know how, they were going to edit it. And I didn't know all those little bits like, oh, I never knew so-and-so said that because I wasn't there. So yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Are you watching this series and how much do you love it?
It's me. I'm watching it as it happens because I'm doing loads of interviews, loads of articles, radio, TV, and every night I've done a post show debrief as well on X, the old Twitter account. So I love
I
it.
love the fact we always said X, the old Twitter account.
Some people don't even know what X is. When I say catch me on X, what's that? You know, so I say Twitter, you have to say that. But yeah, we've had to watch it live because I don't want any spoilers either. I want to see it as it happens, just like everybody else that's watching it. And honestly, I've been gripped. I mean, it's just bloody brilliant TV. I tell you what, BBC are so lucky that they took this one on, aren't they?
They really are. And do you think this is any different? Do you think there's any different this series? I mean, it's obviously I think it's just built in its traction, hasn't it? But I mean,
Yeah.
this seems to have just surpassed everything now. I mean, this is just massive.
Well, I think obviously the advertising, they must have pushed it out a lot because it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it. Doesn't matter if you're on a sports channel, a news channel, even Lidl are talking about it. You know, everybody's talking about it. So yes, it is different this year. And the exposure, like I said, they have the after show, which is Ed Gamble, yeah, he does the after show on straight afterwards. So you're getting to know the contestants, aren't you, on a bit more of a personal level, and all the celebrities that want to be on there. There's loads of celebrities that want to be involved in it as well. So, and they're putting it on their socials. They've got millions of followers, some of these, you know, A-listers. So it's, yeah, BBC are on a winner, Studio Lambert on a winner as well, because they're the production company. It's just, and it's all over the world now. It's not just in the UK. You know, I was in America last Easter, and it was still fresh, and people in America were recognizing me. Hey, Faye, how are you? And I'd look and I'd say, fine. They'd go, you were great on the Traitors, you know, and I'd think, God, you know, but yeah. And this was in hotels. It was just
That's
crazy.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Do you think that people can have careers off the back of this show that, you know, stop their regular role and, you know?
Well, for me, I
Possible.
knew that I was going to sort of not retire, but take a sideward step, because I knew that 30 years in working with very traumatized children takes its toll. You know, people normally give it a maximum of 10 years. I did 30. So I knew that I needed to do something different for my own well-being. And an ambassador for Ripple Suicide Prevention, a campaigner for the NSPCC now. I sit on the board of a social and emotional mental health organisation, and I'm now involved as another ambassador with Lawrence Delalio's Rugby Works. And this is all because of the Traitors. People have said, oh, would you come in? I'd like you to be. And I host a podcast called The Uncut Show with another reality TV star from Rise and Fall. I don't know if you know Rise and Fall, but Ramona.
Mhm.
So I host that with her, and we knock out about 4 shows a month. So, gosh, you know, who would have thought it? And like I said, that was exactly what I wanted. Something different, something. I was totally out of my comfort zone. Now I'm doing interviews with people like you guys, which is amazing. And I love that world. I really do. And my dream is to do a documentary on the boys that I've worked with for 30 years about social, emotional, mental health. That is my dream. And, you know, I'm talking to a few of the right people who are really keen to get on board about that, because I think the awareness in education at the moment is very poor. I'll be honest, they're at crises. Schools need support, and particularly with children with mental health issues, which we're not even touching the surface with. So I want to get out there and sort of talk about that more. And that's hence why I've joined these type of charities, because they're close to, you know, what I believe in. I'm not just going to go and join a charity that's something that I'm not interested in. I've got to be passionate about it, and I am. So
That's amazing because you're using the platform to do something that really matters and counts,
yeah,
which is really fantastic.
and I'm not accountable for anybody because I've retired officially. So I can say, yep, I can do this interview at 11, 12. I can go to these events. I mean, I get DMs for event. I've had 3 new DMs this morning for events in London. Faye, can you come to this art event? Faye, can you come to this fashion show? Faye, can you come? Honestly, it's just incredible and it's lovely and it's a different world. It really is, you know? Yeah.
Aside from Traitors, what
Mhm.
else do you love to watch on TV?
Well, you see, I like to watch. I love X Factor was brilliant at its best because I love music, hence the name Radio Girls. I love music, so X Factor. I used to love watching that. I love watching Strictly, of course. I like watching box sets that are 4 to 6 episodes because you can get them done in a weekend. However, during COVID, I did smash The Walking Dead. I did binge that. Honestly, the whole lot. I think I've got another series to watch on that. Stranger Things was another one that I smashed in lockdown. Dreadful, isn't it? But I did. I mean, box sets are great. You know, Angela Black was a great one. I remember watching that one as well. There's some really fantastic stuff out there at the moment. But I mainly watch a lot of sports in my free time, more than TV. But if I do watch, I like to watch the box sets with up to 4 to 6, like I said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more accessible, isn't it? It's easier just to do and get, like you say, you can smash
get
them
it.
more easily.
Yeah.
If you were offered any other reality show, would you consider any others?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, I love Race Across the World. I don't know if you've watched that one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that would
brilliant.
be
And
great.
The Amazing Race is another one which is quite good. I'm torn about Big Brother because I loved Big Brother 1, 2, and 3, and then that was it. I went off it. But however, the last one sort of brought it back to people again because I thought that was really good. The last Big Brother, really enjoyed that. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a few reality TV. I wouldn't want to do any of the dancing ones or the Masked Singer or anything like that. That is too nerve-wracking. I think the round table's easier than that, truly.
Out of curiosity, if you had the chance to go back and do The Traitors again, you know, having seen it now as a TV show, would you do anything differently?
Oh, yeah. Yes, you would. You wouldn't disclose to a traitor that you've got a master plan, that's for sure. I think do you know what? And I'd be a little bit more reserved because sadly, the ones, it wasn't, people say you got to episode 10, God, were you lucky? I was nearly murdered by the traitors, episode 1 and 2. I don't know if you remember, but my face was the one they said, we ought to get rid of Faye. She's a bit on it, isn't she? And then I got through that. And then 2. And then after episode 3, I kind of just went under the radar a little bit. And then sadly, I disclosed to Will that I had a master plan and I could see exactly where the traitors were sitting on the round table and they were right over on his side. So that was it. So yeah, I would do things differently, 100%. Yeah.
Hard though, isn't it? Because when you get in there, you get lulled into this sort of false sense of security. You're gonna like you're living it, aren't you? It's not easy.
Yeah, but if you're not too vocal, if you notice they're the people that do the best because the finger's not being pointed at you much. You just need to say enough just to keep yourself in there. And I think, there's a few people in there that have done that. Look at the ones that have gone. They've been very vocal people. Anthony, Diane, Aubrey, Sonia. They were the first picked off because they were too vocal at the start. And that's what happens.
Or when they've got it wrong and they sit there and they've got their head in their hands and then it turns people again. I knew it was, and they start to turn against each other even in that moment around the table, don't they?
Yeah, but Harry, God, he's amazing, isn't he? I mean, we keep going back to it, but God, he's just phenomenal. He really is. He really is.
The whole thing's phenomenal.
Are you traitors or faithful fans? Are you rooting for a faithful or a traitor?
I don't know still. I'm a little bit on the fence. I was kind of series 1 I was very much rooting for the traitors, and series 2 I've gone back and forth repeatedly.
Right, okay. Right. See, I want Jazz to get to the final because I feel he deserves it. He's worked the hardest out of all. Zach as well, but I just have a funny feeling Zach could be murdered tonight. I don't know, but you're laughing. Poor Zach. He says a lot, doesn't he? But Zach and Jazz deserve to get to the final because of their work ethics in trying to find the traitors. And I want Harry, if any traitor's going to win it, it's got to be Harry because he's just been a master. He's manipulated, he's schemed, he's just drawn them all in and sat back and watched it all happen.
I love the fact we just talk so, openly. Yeah, we're going to get murdered tonight. It's so weird, isn't it?
Now we've had that full-on funeral for Diane. I feel like anything's possible now.
Oh no, that was really morbid, that bit, wasn't it? Very morbid. But it was nice that she said to Ross goodbye. So that was fair. That was good, that bit, that she got that bit in. Yeah.